Hello everybody, Gradient Pixels.
I'm Shane.
Nick, you should know that by now if you've watched the rest of our videos. We're still doing E3 coverage. This is Bethesda conference. I would say their conference was like the cringiest of all of them. They had a lot of awkward pausing and weird pauses for applause and stuff that didn't really happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have anything to say before we get into the games about that.
Nah, not really.
Okay. So, they started the show off with Rage 2 and a music performance by Andrew WK.
Yep.
Decent song.
Your life is over now. Your life is running out. When your time is at an end, then it's time to kill again.
Pretty hardcore. I don't think anyone in the audience was really feeling it.
No.
It was a good performance, but
Every time they panned over to the crowds, they
didn't know what to do. They were just
yeah.
Yes.
So Rage 2, just some more gameplay was shown. We already got a gameplay trailer, but this was just a little bit more in depth. I think it looks fun. I was a decent fan of the first game, and this one looks better than that one, so I'll probably end up getting that at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. I don't think I'd get it though. I'm not super into shooters. I'm really picky when it comes to those, but I do like the color that they're trying to add to the new game. So
It's definitely more vibrant, and it gives it more identity than the first game had.
Yeah.
After that, they went into Elder Scrolls Legends, Elder Scrolls Online, and Quake Champions. Nothing really to say on that front.
Yeah,
Not
I'm just not invested.
not into any of those games. Then they had kind of a surprise reveal with Doom Eternal, the sequel to 2016's Doom. Some people kind of expected that was coming, but no gameplay. Gameplay's coming at QuakeCon later this year, but just a teaser. What do you think?
It was a nice teaser. I would have liked to have seen gameplay though. That's how I always am nowadays. I don't really care for the pre-rendered stuff. So yeah.
I thought it was a good trailer. I liked 2016's Doom enough. It wasn't anything like crazy. It was just more Doom, and this seems like it's going to be more Doom. So I don't think they can really go wrong with it. Then they had some Prey updates and DLC. The Moon Crash DLC had a really cool trailer. I liked the music choice for that one. It was a Spin Me Right Round or whatever that song's called.
Yeah, Spin Me Right Round.
And yeah, the DLC was kind of like a roguelite thing where it was like you go through runs with different weapons, different enemies, stuff like that. Seemed interesting to get people back into Prey. Hasn't really had any sort of expansions or anything like that. So, any thoughts on Prey?
I haven't played Prey, but I've heard really good things about it. And I think it might be the type of shooter that I like, because the problem I had with Doom was I just thought it was really repetitive, and there wasn't really a whole lot of variation. It was basically just point your gun and shoot at things, whereas Prey is a bit more tactical, so I might like it a bit more, so maybe I'll play it. I know the game was really underrated, or at least a lot of people think that way, so yeah, maybe I'll give it a try sometime.
Yeah, I'll get it at some point too. It was on my radar for a little bit and then kind of dropped off of it, but if it's cheap enough, I'll probably be picking it up soon. Then Wolfenstein had a couple of announcements. They had the Youngblood, which was a kind of spin-off like they did after the first new Wolfenstein game. They had Wolfenstein the Old Blood, and this is kind of the same thing for Wolfenstein 2. You play as BJ's twin daughters, and it has like a co-op mechanic.
What does BJ stand for in the game?
That's a good question. I forget what...
Blowjob?
No. I forget what the J is, but I think the B is Billy. Because
Joel.
Everybody calls him Terror Billy in the second game, so I assume it's Billy. But yeah, kind of like the Doom and Prey things. It's just kind of more Wolfenstein, more first-person shooter stuff. They announced some VR stuff. Prey, the DLC for Prey was getting a VR mode, and also Wolfenstein has a separate VR game. Thoughts on that? Bethesda seemed to be like the only one that was really pushing VR this year.
I don't remember the VR footage.
They didn't have any footage, but
They
they
just
were the only
announced it.
one that announced something that was VR.
Yeah,
Other than Daracene from the Sony conference.
Yeah. It's cool to see the VR stuff, even though I don't have a VR set, because I think there's a lot of interesting things that can be done with VR, but they haven't quite made it there yet. So hopefully, if Bethesda keeps doing VR games and Valve does it and everything, we can get some cool games. I think it has a long way to go, but it's a start, so I appreciate Bethesda trying to make VR experiences.
Yeah, and so then they had Todd come out, and Todd, everything leading up to this just kind of felt like I heard mentioned in a different video. It's like the Todd Howard pre-show. Basically, when he came out, the press conference really livened up a lot. Main focus on Fallout 76. We got a lot of information, and then a lot more questions still from a lot of people that just couldn't really wrap their heads around it. I really liked what they showed. I think it's definitely a really risky game for Bethesda to make, because Fallout 4, while it sold commercially really well, among some of the hardcore fans, I don't think it found as great of a footing, because it was a little bit more stripped down based on some of the other decisions they made throughout development. But so this one's a little bit more risky for them to make. Multiplayer, sort of survival-ish. It's way earlier in the timeline of the games, but I really liked what they showed. It's something that I've always wanted with my friends, was to be able to play a Fallout with them, so this is how I'm going to be able to do that now. And the landscape of West Virginia looks great, and also there was one other thing I was going to say. They of course announced the collector's edition, the Power Armor edition, which is pretty cool. I pre-ordered it already, so yeah, I'm a pretty big Fallout fan. But do you have anything to share on 76?
I probably won't be getting it, but I think the concept itself is really interesting, so I'm curious to see how that'll all work, and I hope it works out for them. So I'm really just curious to see how the game turns out. I guess I don't know if I'll be playing it or not, but it sounds interesting, so
yeah,
I would definitely like to hear more.
It's definitely gonna be like a make or break for Fallout, I think, with Bethesda, because we're probably not gonna get it until after next generation at this point, because it seems like they're doing like 2 games console generation, and we already know that they're doing Starfield and Elder Scrolls next gen. So unless they can really pick up the pace on what they put out, we're not going to be seeing Fallout for a very long time after this.
Good riddance.
Yeah. Then Todd came out and talked about Elder Scrolls Blades, which is a pretty ambitious looking phone game. It's like an actual Elder Scrolls game with like dungeons and fighting and all that. And they're also bringing it to other consoles and VR. So I thought that was pretty neat. It definitely looked ambitious. It was a big step away from Fallout Shelter. Fallout Shelter, when they announced that, it was like, oh yeah, I can see that. It's totally a mobile game. This one actually seemed way more in-depth. Because like we said, there's like weapons, loot, custom character creation, stuff like that. So
yeah,
it was a neat surprise.
Yeah, I mean, it basically just looks like Elder Scrolls on the go on iOS and Android, so I was really impressed with it. Graphically speaking, it looks really nice. Once again, I don't think I'd get it. I'm not like a huge Bethesda fan like Nick is, so I'm very impressive though.
And it's coming for free later on Google devices and Apple, so a lot of people will play it, I'm sure. I might try it out. I'm not super big into mobile, but I might try it out. But then the 2 big kind of mic drop announcements that they had were that they're working on Starfield, which is their new IP, and Elder Scrolls 6, which that set the room afire, because everybody's been wanting Elder Scrolls 6 or wanting the confirmation of Elder Scrolls 6. I personally was more excited for Starfield. I am very much excited about the prospects of a completely new world from Bethesda, because I just love the way that their games are designed, with big open worlds that you discover. Just like the gameplay loops, even though I know it's not for everybody, I am really attracted to that. The kind of explore, kill some monsters or aliens, loot some stuff, go back, do quests, things like that. And having it in a new universe with new worlds and new things to discover from Bethesda is really intriguing to me. So that one really excited me. Also, I really like the logo that they revealed, because that's basically all the teaser was. You get like a ship that goes into warp speed, but then they had the logo, and it looks really nice.
Yeah, I think the prospect of Bethesda doing like an open world space game is really, really cool. I feel like we haven't gotten like a really amazing space game quite yet. I mean, I haven't played Mass Effect, so I can't really comment on those. Maybe I'm wrong, but
they're decent.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably the closest thing we have right now. No Man's Sky didn't really hit the same thing that like a Mass Effect would have.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think if anyone can make like a big open world space game where you like fly from planet to planet, assuming that's what we're doing, I think Bethesda could certainly do that. Besides Rockstar, but Rockstar's not going to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Bethesda will do a great job.
Yeah.
Is that it? Or
Yeah,
what?
that was it. So that's the Bethesda press conference. What would you grade it overall?
It was like a C.
For me, it was a B+, just because...
Yeah, it depends on what you're into, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just really into their games, and a lot of... Like, I wanted to see a lot of Fallout 76. I wanted to see Starfield. I got both of those.
Yeah, I'd say it was a B-, actually, thinking about it again.
And all the other stuff, while it's not as exciting as Fallout and Starfield to me, it's all stuff that I'll probably play, because I buy a lot of the Bethesda games. So that's it for our Bethesda video. Put down in the comments what you thought was exciting about the press conference, what you would grade it, and if you're excited for Starfield or Elder Scrolls. See ya in the next video.
All right. Because
What is so funny?
I don't know.